Have you ever questioned the nature of reality? Wondered if what you perceive as real might not be real at all? Reality, as we understand it, is our perception of the world around us. It's the trees swaying in the wind, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the laughter of a child. But what if I told you that there's a way to experience a different kind of reality? A reality that can be just as vivid, just as engaging, but fundamentally different from the physical world we know. Welcome to the concept of virtual reality. Virtual reality, or VR as it's more commonly known, is a technology that can create a simulated environment. It's like stepping into a new world that you can see, hear, and even touch. It's a world created entirely by computer technology, and yet it feels astonishingly real. Imagine putting on a pair of special glasses and suddenly you're standing in a lush green forest, even though just a moment ago you were in your living room. You can look around, walk around, and if you reach out, you can touch the leaves on the trees. But remember, it's all virtual. None of it is physically real. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If this virtual world looks and feels real, if it can make you laugh, make you cry, make you feel fear or joy, does that make it any less real than the physical world we know? After all, isn't reality just our perception of the world around us? And if our perceptions can be manipulated by a computer, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? This is a question that philosophers, scientists, and technologists have been grappling with for years. And as virtual reality technology continues to evolve and become more sophisticated, it's a question that will only become more pertinent and more challenging. If a virtual world looks and feels real, does that make it any less real than the physical world we know? Virtual reality blurs the line between what's real and what's not. But what does this mean from a philosophical perspective? To understand this, let's dive into the world of video games, a common application of virtual reality. When you're playing a game, you're immersed in a digital environment. You might be battling dragons, racing cars, or exploring alien worlds. Even though you're aware that it's not physically real, your mind often treats it as such. The adrenaline rush, the sense of achievement, the fear, or the excitement you feel are all very real emotions. Now let's ponder on this. If these experiences and emotions are real, can we then argue that the environment causing them is real too? At least in some sense. This is where philosophy comes into play. In philosophy, there's a concept called phenomenalism, which proposes that things only exist as far as they are perceived. So if you perceive a virtual world and react to it, doesn't that make it exist in some capacity? Consider another philosophical concept, solipsism. Solipsism suggests that only one's own mind is sure to exist. In this context, if your mind perceives the virtual world and believes in its existence, then isn't that world real for you? But here's the catch. If we start accepting virtual reality as a form of reality, we run into a paradox. We're admitting that reality is both physical and non-physical. This challenges our traditional understanding of reality as something tangible and measurable. However, some philosophers propose that reality isn't just about physical existence. It's about experiences and perceptions. It's about the stories we live and tell, the emotions we feel, and the lessons we learn. From this perspective, virtual reality does indeed qualify as a form of reality. So if we can experience emotions and sensations in a virtual world, does that make our experiences any less real? This question opens up a whole new realm of possibilities and interpretations, and that's the beauty of exploring the philosophy of virtual reality. We've talked about how virtual reality can create experiences that feel real, but how does this compare to our experiences in the physical world? Let's imagine a roller coaster ride. In the physical world, you're strapped in, feeling the metal bar press against your chest. The anticipation builds as the ride slowly ascends. Then your stomach drops as you plunge down the tracks, the wind rushing past your face, the screams of fellow riders, the taste of fear and excitement. It's an experience that engages all your senses. Now, let's take that same roller coaster ride, but in a virtual world. You put on your VR headset and suddenly you're sitting in the front seat of the roller coaster. As you look around, you see the same daunting tracks stretching out in front of you. The ride starts moving, your palms start sweating, your heart races, and you scream as the virtual coaster dives down the tracks. The experience might seem similar, but there are key differences. In the virtual world, there's no actual wind rushing past your face, no physical sensation of your stomach dropping. Yet your brain is tricked into believing you're on this thrilling ride. It's all about perception. While the virtual roller coaster isn't physically real, the fear and excitement you feel are. Just because an experience happens in a virtual world doesn't mean it's any less real than an experience in the physical world. After all our experiences are interpreted by our brains. Whether we're flying down a roller coaster track or sitting at home with a VR headset on. This comparison between virtual and physical reality shows us that our perception of reality isn't just about the physical world around us. It's also about how our brain interprets and reacts to the information it receives. So, even though the roller coaster ride in the virtual world wasn't physically real, the fear and excitement you felt were very real. So, what does all this mean for our understanding of reality? A question worth pondering, isn't it? We've taken quite the journey today, delving deep into the philosophical implications of virtual environments and their relation to our physical reality. We started off by questioning our understanding of reality, didn't we? In the realm of virtual reality, the lines between what's real and what's virtual can become impressively blurry. It's all about perception, and perception, as we've learned, can be influenced and altered in extraordinary ways. Then we ventured into the philosophy of virtual reality, where we discussed how this technology challenges our conventional notions of existence and experience. We pondered on the idea, if one can experience a virtual world in a manner that feels real, then isn't it, for all intents and purposes, a form of reality? Next, we compared virtual and physical realities. We looked at how the boundaries between the two are not as clear-cut as they might seem. After all, both types of reality engage our senses, evoke emotions, and can create lasting memories. But let's not forget the implications of all this. Virtual reality opens up a whole new avenue for philosophical inquiries. It prompts us to question the very nature of reality and our place within it. It challenges us to redefine what we consider to be real and to accept that there may be multiple forms of reality, each as valid as the next. In essence, virtual reality not only changes the way we interact with the world, but it also fundamentally alters our understanding of what it means to exist. It's a brave new world indeed. Next time you step into a virtual world, consider this. If it looks real and feels real, does it matter whether it's physically real or not? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content.